working, I'll know. It's working. Video Mora, back again with you, live from Very Sloppy House. Yeah, you can hardly move around in this room because there is no place to move. I kind of made a path through all the stuff. Anyway, uh, let's see. Let's see. I just got in, so I'm all packed, a little sweaty. I got the fan going so that I will be comfortable in talking about probably the most uncomfortable thing outside of abortion to talk about, the capital G God, the Western God. This is the God that supplants all others. We've had plural gods in our history forever. Was it a good thing? Other cultures have done this, still do it. It seems to be a good thing for some. We prefer our one God and we say, this is the one. This is the one. Now, your old pal has done this before. I've talked about God in other videos. Explained what we did to the capital G God, and how we genderized it and gave it an age and gave it a disposition and all these lovely things to make it more relatable. Because how can you relate to something that is all powerful, all forgiving, all loving? And by the way, if God loves me all the time, every time, always did love me, will love me now, and will love me tomorrow, and no changes, and the same for you, what makes it special? If God never hates me, is never angry with me, always forgives me, so you have the Old Testament. You're angry, revenge-filled, vengeful God. Perhaps that's needed for the time. What do we need today in God? Do we have what we need? You gotta have your God balanced out with your needs for the time. Uh, uh, oh yeah, more tattoos. See the feather? I got. Never mind. Um, if you're living in a time where you need a God to bring in the crops, or when the lake dried up to bring you water, if you need a God to give you healthy children, all these things, you will have that God because you will give birth to that. You'll invent that. You'll create that. And I'm not exactly saying that the capital G God is a figment of our needs. Because God is different for everybody. But whatever it is, since I don't know, I'll just talk about it. Do that a lot, don't I? So, here's God. Here's God. I have many times said, oh, dear God, please. And then blah, 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 blah. You have, maybe, yes. Is it an idea? Or is it solid? Is it a concept? Or is it a construct? Is it like like smoke, kind of hovering over our heads and we can't quite? Or is it solid, like a statue, marble? What is it? The idea of this power, this all loving, all forgiving, all powerful entity, is not new to the Western world. The West, well, okay, but this goes way back. And only actually as recent as the New Kingdom, Egypt, the pharaohs, etc. We can call it ancient Egyptology. Those gods and goddesses were integral to the belief system and the smooth flowing of that civilization and that culture. If they didn't have a god of water or the sky, the earth, the fields, food, children, they have to have these because how can one do all of that? Surely God can't do it all. So we have our Christian God, so we don't worry about that. We have one who can do it all. Super God. But we have to be careful. We have to be careful. And it's not because we insult God. Remember, the Western capital G God can't be insulted, can't be hurt, can't be disappointed. People get hurt. People get disappointed. People will tell you, don't worry, God is with you. God loves you. And this is fine. It's the instinct and urging that we have in us to bring out that side of us that'll tell someone we love or just care for that there's something called God that will help you, will care for you, will comfort you. And it's our idea of that kind of power that we feel we're bestowing on someone we care about. If we don't care about you and we kind of can't stand you, say, oh, God is so disappointed in you. I don't know. How does God register disappointment? And if God, see, no, I can't go there. I'm going to make some enemies. Don't think of it that way, please. I respect all tenets, all beliefs. I even had, even religious organizations. I don't respect them, but I don't have the wherewithal to go head to head on that one. But I prefer the spiritual side of people, not the religious. And there's a reason for that. I think you can figure that out. I need this intangible yet accessible power to be relatable. So if I refer to God, I'm going to, usually it's, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Or, oh, God, please. So you're looking at, in examining how we address the capital G God, you have to know that we are believing that God, in its way, is fully capable of taking on all our needs. And if we don't get what we need, it's somehow ordained. It's written in the stars. I'm not sure. If we cooked up the idea of a God above all other gods, and we've done that many times, but this one, the capital G God. If we did this, then all our hopes for an afterlife are kind of, you kind of get fakakta when you think about heaven and the afterlife. But wait, video moron, if there's a heaven, there must be a hell, and how can that be? If God loves us, why would he let us burn for all eternity and I don't know. I don't know. I can tell you this though. We really have some amazing inventive thoughts, don't we? God is a good thing. It doesn't hurt anybody. Just don't, you know, there was a lady who was talking to me recently. She said, "Oh, I'm explaining to my son about he was last Easter he was worried because he didn't know if the Easter bunny was going to lay some nice eggs for him." Yeah, she said that. The Easter bunny is going to lay some eggs for him. And she really believed that rabbits laid eggs, but that's okay. It's a sign of fertility. That's what that's about. But it made me realize that I can't talk about God to anyone because people are, they're in their own encapsulated belief system. And if you try to penetrate that, if you try to puncture that bubble, you might make an enemy where you could have had a friend. So I didn't say anything to her about that. Remember that girl that thought that the buffalo wings came off of tiny buffaloes? What was the other one she believed? Oh, chicken of the sea. You know, the tuna, chicken of the sea. She thought there were little chickens that lived under. Oh boy. Well, anyway, chickens that live underwater. She really believed that. She really believed that. So if someone comes up to me to talk about God or the Bible and they talk about a talking snake, anything is possible from that book. But there's some lovely poetry, and it's allegory, it's parable. Even the man himself, Yeshua ben Joseph. Yeshua ben Joseph. We are told, this is like almost 200 years after he walked the earth. If he did, seems to be pretty historical, actually. But even he said, wait, no, I'm talking in, it's an allegory. I'm comparing things here. I wonder if Yeshua, Jesus, was real, was as human as we are. He waited until the last, the last weeks of his life before he told his buddies that, this God we've been praying to, this wonderful Jewish God we pray to, I'm his son. He's my father. What did you say, Yeshua? But he waited to tell people that, I think. Point being, but it's such a big deal. There are people out there that are positive that they are God or related to God in some way. If we were able to go to another star system, we're just in our galaxy. We can't, intergalactically move, but maybe interstellar in this one galaxy. And we go to a star system much like ours, and say we go to Aldebaran, the star, Aldebaran. Like we have Sol in the Sol system, solar system. We go to Aldebaran, this star, and there is an Aldebaranian system. And one of those planets, the life forms, let's call them Q. And the Qians meet the Earthians. And how much you want to bet we can compare notes on our gods? They'll have a God. I guarantee you they'll have some powerful entity. Look at that commercial. I got my TV on. It's never off. They will have something that they rely on and look to. Now, why did I look up? Why didn't I look here? God. And we look up. When you think about something, it's your brain. You're contemplating it's here. When you develop an idea or a concept, it's not coming from your elbow or your shoulder or your liver, your kidneys. It's here, right? Isn't it? It's intangible that the mind, much like God, is like the smoke that you can't grip. But in that mind is the birth of everything we believe we need. Now, the Cuians from the Aldebaran system, they're so pleased to find that another life form, has the higher power deal going too. And what if we disagree on this? And the earthlings say, I know you love your God and you worship your God, but really, we got the one. And the Cuians, no, you don't get it. Well, just look at our history. It's kind of like yours. We got the one. You imagine the cosmic war that would start? Well, you don't have to imagine it. Bing! It happens all over this planet, all the time. I got the fan on because that was out. So there are wars everywhere based on people's religious beliefs, not their spiritual nature, not their spiritual side, which is good and personal and too personal maybe to discuss. No, we're talking religion, organized religion. They're all over the place on the planet, and people have died for thousands of years, thousands and thousands of years, based on who's got the better God. So, like I said, we need God, whatever it may be. Like I said in a previous video, we gave it a gender. It's fatherly. It's a loving father. It's patriarchal. It's older than us at any age. So it's older from us at 20, and when we're 102, it's still older than us. It will always be the all-wise, all-knowing, all-loving, all-forgiving, all-powerful creator. And even if you know in your heart of hearts that evolution is logical, it makes sense, it really seems to be what happened, you could still have the creation theory too, because that's just as viable. That's okay. It's okay. I remember saying this in a previous Sloppy House video. It's okay. Big deal. So you believe in two contradicting theories. It's okay. Just be somebody that doesn't hurt other people. That's all. The idea of God, this concept, something like that, we run to for comfort. We need to. Because people can be hurtful and cold and judgmental. They can also be quite loving and caring. You just got to know where, who to be around, know what to surround yourself with. They say God will always be there with you. The almighty they say God will be there for you always. Always. And it always was there. Okay, okay, I don't have to believe that. And I can still be a good human on the planet. It's okay. The more we make out of it, the more we argue. The bigger an issue it gets, the farther apart we become from each other. I say we should just take our idea of God, our concept, and keep it in our heart, share it. You never know. Share yourself. I know I said that in another video, but God bless you. You gotta have something. Gotta have something, right? Right? If it's just us, oh, that's scary. If there's oblivion, what if when we die, we won't know if there's nothing because we won't have the power to observe? Yes? And speaking of when we die, it is very human to imagine a heaven, a wonderful, serene, happy place. If you believe in heaven, you certainly must believe in the opposite of heaven, right? Because how can anything be that good if there isn't something that bad? How can you know what light is unless you've seen darkness? And therefore it exists? Well, so you've got a place of reward, a place of punishment. And I almost went like this. Heaven, hell. Why is down a bad? Do you know that the native, not Native Americans, they weren't native to America, and they weren't Indians. Um, these people who walked onto the continent from Mongolia mostly, we call them Native Americans. You know what I mean. They would pray to their different gods, but the one they loved the most, many of these tribes, was the Great Spirit, and they would look up. But not all of them. There were those that looked down, like this. They looked inside themselves for the Great Spirit. The Lakota, the Dakota, the Sioux, the Apache. The Apache, that's not the name, I'm sorry, the Cherokee, right? Cherokee. Named themselves after a very brave young boy who did this heroic thing. His name was Apache. So they call themselves Apaches in his honor and his memory. But the thing is, the God that they were uh, communing with was a great spirit. And they would look to the sky, and we can't help that. Not because it's up there, but because it's above us. We're just human. We're not gods. We used to make gods, God, small g, out of humans, like in Egypt. I'm fascinated with the plural God idea. I just love that idea. I love to study. But back to the one God. The same God that comforts you will comfort me. If it doesn't exist, what's the difference? If we get something from this belief, when you were a kid, how did you feel about Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, stuff like that? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And you know what I think about the idea of heaven? It, there can't be a hell, because what if this God, like, sends somebody we like and care about, our good friend, they go to hell. They're judged and they go to hell. and we go to heaven. Hey, but wait, my best friend is not here. How can I be at peace? How can I feel heavenly if you sent my best friend to hell? And why did you do that, God? But God, it's an idea. It's a concept. And right now, in our evolution, we need to hold on to it. Because we're so weak, so fallible, and yet we're fantastic. Hell, we're on Mars. We left the planet. And we'll keep doing that. And people will continue to complain about how much it costs. Why can't we use that money to feed the hungry right here on Earth? I don't have the answer. Ask God. Well, I can see I've talked way too much again. I didn't mean to, really. So I'll say goodbye. Peace to you. All good things to you. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to pray. Okay? Take care of each other. Look after yourself. Pull the weeds and let the flowers grow. I love you.